Hello, I just wanted to provide an update on my aquaponic system. Currently, I have it growing in my grow box, which I grew a few years ago. And I kind of wanted to go over some of the pluses and minuses that I've been dealing with. So this is a recycling aquaponic system. Here I have a 12-gallon reservoir with a submersible pump. And this is my water nutrient solution. And the pump will pump the nutrients into the container with the plants. Down there. And uses these spray jets to distribute the nutrients. And then drains through this bottom line back into the reservoir system. One of the main issues that I encountered right away was algae. These lights easily penetrate the plastic of these totes, but a member on the Pepper Lovers community provided me a tip to use this Reflect Max, which is just like a bubble. It's kind of like a bubble wrap with just a reflective coating on it. And since I've done that, everything's been really clean. But occasionally you do have to clean everything up. So I just disconnect all the lines, bring everything in the bathtub and clean it up. Now all the other aquaponic systems that I saw required, they weren't recycling. So all the solution and the pump was in the main container, in the main tote. So in order to get it to drain, unfortunately, I have to give it a little bit of a tilt. So I have one end of the tote tilted up, which allows the gravity to draw the water toward the drainage port, which causes a few other problems. Growing these large plants, or to full size, or however, maturity, they tend to tilt if they're not properly balanced. So you can try trimming, I've even tried tying them down, but from what I've been having problems with is no matter how you trim it, you can trim it so that it balances, but once they start to develop fruit on the limbs that you trimmed, then it's off balance again. So what happens is these net cups that the plant is in, they tilt. So at the moment I haven't found this to be a really good full plant system, which is fine for me. My only plan is to grow seedlings out until they're ready to transplant into the soil, kind of like this one on the right. And this was all a first run. None of these are going in the garden. I mean, it's December in Minnesota. But I figured in the meantime, while I'm experimenting with how this thing works, at the very least I can possibly make some crosses. So that's what I'm working on right now. Also, when I designed this, I was using a double cut method. This is actually just a cutting. Actually, it's a breaking off of a branch, but everything I was growing were in double cups. So I had a lot of room between my double cup and my light. Currently my light's all the way at the top because this tote is quite high. And because of this, if you want to grow other things, other plants, like here's my spicy tree contest plant, it takes a lot of work and other materials just to get the plants up to about the same light level as all the plants in the aquaponics system. Then there's the issue of mixing the nutrients. The submersible pump in this reservoir requires something like a minimum of 5 gallons to produce enough pressure to pump up into the main container. And the plant will absorb water, obviously, and with it nutrients as it does that. So I have to continuously check, like continuously, maybe like once a day or something, the water level, because I don't want to break the pump. And until now I've been mixing my nutrient solution in this 3-gallon container here, and basically using the microgrow series just mixing my nutrients. However, I was kind of left blinded by, just because there may only be 5 gallons of water and nutrients in this tub, doesn't mean it's at the same nutrient strength as when I filled it up initially to the 11-gallon mark. So there used to be a fellow on Google Plus in the pepper lovers community. His name is Andrew Higginbottom, and he once posted an article about creating a nutrient slurry, in which he would just simply make a very high concentration of nutrients in a smaller container and add them to his reservoirs as needed. But what he used was a TDS meter, which is just a meter that measures parts per million of particulates in your water. And what he did was, again, made small batches of very high concentration, and then adds that concentration with water into his reservoir until he reaches the proper ppm. Mixing a lot of solution I found to be kind of tedious. A lot of stirring, a lot of shaking. So what I did was I took a system that was, as far as I can tell, or know, was created by Chili Chump. And he uses this, it's a stir plate, and he uses the stir plate to emulsify pepper mash in with vinegar when he makes hot sauces. But it's really great. It's a little noisy right now. I don't have everything perfect. But there is a magnet on top of a fan, a computer fan, and it spins this magnet. And after a short time here, we should be able to see just how well this actually does stir. So what I do is I simply just turn this fan on. We're getting a vortex right now. You can see the vortex being created by the spinning of the magnet. So I will just add basically what is 10 gallons worth of solution, that is to make enough nutrients to make a 10-gallon solution, into this spinning solution, and it saves me a lot of effort on mixing, and I can just let it run. At that point, on a daily basis, I can check my reservoir levels, and I can add fresh water to meet the container limit that needs to be at, and then I can add from this solution enough to the reservoir until I reach the proper, or at least the ideal nutrient levels. Thank you.